Christian female gentleman. People told me to do this. Here we are. Redeemed Zoomer made a video. Every heretical Christian cult explained in 8 minutes. I don't know. People tell me it's like Jehovah's Witness stuff. I honestly don't know. All right, we're doing Christian lore today. I'll be completely honest with you. This is a lore dive for me. This is a lore dive for me, and we'll see what it's all about. Lock in, everybody. We do Islam lore. We do Christian lore. Suspiciously, one is a little less murdery than the other, but we're not gonna, we're not gonna pick on anybody here. All right, with this lore channel on Taku, where every day we do new lore. Let's see what we got.
Can you be Christian and believe God is actually a woman in South Korea, or that the Garden of Eden is really in Missouri, or that
I personally don't think so. Personally,
God is just.
But I'm not Christian, so it's not like my place.
Metaphor for.
I'm just learning. I'm in my Christian leering center. All right, I'm leering one day at a time.
And love. There are some groups that teach this, which raises the question: what does Christian even mean? Who counts as Christian? It means anyone who identifies as a Christian, man.
Get out of here! What is this? What is this? Oh my god.
You can't just gatekeep.
Can we blast this guy with a laser?
Religion.
Oh my god.
Well, if Christian can mean anything, then it means nothing.
True.
So it has
Facts.
to mean something.
True.
There has to be some.
Bro really tried to hit you with what is a woman.
Some boundary between true and false Christianity. Historically, that boundary has been the creeds of the early church, which teach things like the Trinity, the resurrection, and basic ideas about the church. All the mainstream Christian denominations believe these creeds, but there are some fringe groups that not only reject the beliefs
Mormon, Jehovah's Witness, Scientology. Bro, Scientology?
of the creeds, but think that Christians have been deceived for centuries by believing them. So these groups are considered heretical by the standards of historic Christianity. Let's start with the Mormons, or as they call themselves, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but we're not saying that every time. They're by far the biggest of these groups, and have the most interesting...
That's interesting, because I've heard multiple people say that Mormons are Christians, and I've heard multiple people say that Mormons are not Christians, which I've always found funny. I don't know. So this is pretty cool.
Architecture, even though their temples look more like sorcerers' towers than churches. But they
Bro, you're just a hater. These temples are awesome looking.
Were started in America in 1830 by this guy Joseph Smith. They began in
getting South Park flashbacks. No!
New York, but the Yankees kicked them out, so they made their way to Utah, which is where they mostly are to this day. America's very important to Mormons. They think the Garden of Eden was in modern-day Missouri. They think one...
Wait, how could you possibly...
tribe...
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be controversial here or anything, but how could you possibly think this, bro? Like, how could you possibly think that when, like, literally, quite literally, God promised the Holy Land to Abraham and his descendants, and it was very, very specifically not in Missouri.
Tribes of Israel made their way to the Americas and became the Native Americans.
And then they were all killed? And then wait, the native tribes of Israel went to the Americas and became the Native Americans, and then the Christians came and killed them? What are we talking about, bro? America was promised to the Jews 3,000 years ago. You see that's what I'm talking about.
They believe Jesus appeared to the Americans after his ascension, and they believe the angel Moroni left invisible golden tablets in upstate New York,
right, I heard
which
about
Joseph Smith found and transcribed into the Book of Mormon.
So what I heard, I don't know if this is true. Again, I'm not hating on Mormonism or anything. I need to do a deep dive on Mormonism, I feel like. I know that Oompaville just did a video on that. We need to do one on that. But one thing that I find wild is the fact that he finds the golden tablets, he transcribes the golden tablets, and then the angel comes and takes back the golden tablets away. And then he's just left with his transcription, and he's the only witness.
Mormons see the Book of Mormon as another testament of Holy Scripture in addition to the Old and New Testaments of the Bible, and they have some other Holy Scriptures as well.
How on earth does it fit, though?
But the things in
quite literally, the Holy Land is not Utah.
These Mormon scriptures contradict historic Christianity. For example, Mormons believe God was once a man like we are, and we can become gods like God is.
Is that true? Chat, is that true? Any Mormons in chat? Is that true? Yes? Are you serious? I didn't know that.
But Christians believe that God has always existed and never changes. Christians also believe in the Trinity.
Yeah, because it's a verse in the Bible. It literally says in the Bible, I am eternal and I do not change. That is a verse in the Bible, dog.
Where the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are all one being. They're all the same God and are only different in their relations to each other. But Mormons believe that they are three different beings, meaning they believe in...
Isn't that polytheism? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. Maybe I'm getting a biased view of Mormonism. Really not trying to shit on anybody here. But isn't that, like, polytheism?
Three gods. They also believe black people's dark skin was a curse from God until...
I feel like I have to pause every 2 seconds because I hear something even wilder than the last thing. Bro, what's going on?
Until God changed his mind in 1978,
Oh.
actually. Since Christians and Mormons believe in different
Okay, dude, we're doing a Mormon deep dive after this. This seems awesome.
gods, they can't be said to be the same religion. The Jehovah's Witnesses are a lot more extreme and cult-like than the Mormons.
Right.
They're an apocalyptic cult, meaning they think the
damn.
world is ending soon, so they isolate from society, but they still go out into the world to spread their beliefs.
Oh.
They completely reject the Trinity and think Jesus was just an angel, not God, which is why they're heretical according to historic Christianity. They don't believe in hell either, and they think only 144,000 people will make it to heaven.
What? So why is God making all these other people? Just to suffer forever? But there's no hell, so what? What do you mean? Whoa! Dude, I feel like Dude, we are here. The Christianity Leering Center is pretty diabolical.
They have their own special translation of the Bible, probably because the regular Bible isn't so friendly to their beliefs. They're considered a cult because of this thing they do called shunning, where if you leave their religion, they get your friends and family to stop talking to you.
Damn!
The spiritualists were founded
That sounds like Scientology.
in 1800s America, just like Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses. Noticing a pattern? It's pretty clear why they're not historically Christian. They believe in communicating with dead spirits, and the Bible...
Yep, that goes directly against the Bible. Yep, Leviticus says that you kill someone that speaks to dead spirits. Yep, sorry. Nope.
says those are actually demons.
Yeah, no.
Next
Oh, he quoted Leviticus.
up
Nice.
is the Unification Church, or
Yeah.
Moonies for short, because it was founded by this South
I've never heard
Korean
of
guy,
this.
Sun Myung Moon. He claimed to be the second coming of Christ, and that he and his wife were the true parents of all Christians.
Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? Bro.
The Moonies are famous for their mass wedding ceremonies, where thousands of
Is
people
he
get
dead? Did he die? Bro's the second coming and he just dies off screen? Bro.
married at once. Moon wrote a book called The Divine Principle, which he claims Jesus revealed to him over a period of 9 years, so that he could finish the work Jesus failed to complete due to his...
What is going on? What are we doing? You think Jesus came back as a bald guy, bro? Really? Really?
crucifixion. It's structured like a theology text. It teaches that everyone will be saved, it rejects the Trinity, and it teaches that the fall was when Eve had a sexual relationship with Satan. The Unitarian Universalists aren't exactly a cult because
Again, I don't think that would necessarily make someone a heretic. That's just interesting.
they're very loose and liberal, but they definitely reject historic Christianity.
Bro, who are these guys? Unitarian Universalists? Are these just people that go to college campuses to try to convince Christians to have butt sex?
It's basically church for atheists.
It's exactly what I just said. Exactly what I just said.
They were formed in the 20th century as a union of the Unitarians, who reject the Trinity, and the Universalists, who reject hell. If you combine these two beliefs,
They just literally straight up reject everything. Oh my god, bro. It's like we're a religion. We don't believe in God, though. It's like, what are we doing?
you get the idea that all religions worship the same God, and that leads to the idea that it doesn't...
Quite literally fake, because it's... What are we doing? The second commandment. Do not serve false gods. Bro.
really matter what you
This is tax fraud on wheels, okay?
believe about God. And that's what they believe to this day. Unitarians
dude.
are a community of people of many different religious beliefs.
Love is love. Yeah, right, dude. We all believe in the same God. Anyway, your God says that gay sex is an abomination, but our God, which is the same God, actually says that your God, which is the same God, is wrong. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude.
And they openly say that it doesn't really matter what you believe religiously, because what unites them isn't their beliefs about God, but their commitment to social justice. And that's because most of them don't see God as a being that actually exists, but they just ask, how can the idea of a loving God inspire us to love other people better?
This is the cringest shit in the world. It's like, oh yes, God is just whatever I feel like at the given moment. Right.
So the only difference between most of them and hardcore atheists is whether or not religion is useful for society. The Iglesia ni
That's
Cristo
crazy.
is another apocalyptic anti-Trinitarian group, this time from the Philippines. It was started by this guy who claimed to be the final prophet of God.
There's a lot of these. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a whole big religion. I don't know about the Iglesia ni Cristo. I've never heard of these guys. But I feel like there's a whole other religion that follows a false prophet that involves, like, thinking that it's an apocalyptic religion that kills people and stuff.
They believe that it's the one true church outside of which there is no salvation. They believe this fulfills a biblical prophecy that the church would die out but rise again in the East before the end of time. Here are some of their beliefs. They think only the Father is God, so they reject the Trinity. They think faith alone...
That's not Christianity, quite literally.
...is not enough for salvation. They reject infant baptism and only baptize believers who can make a personal decision. And they think anyone who dies without being in the Iglesia ni Cristo will go to hell.
So it's not only not Christian, but it's also... Okay, I don't want to be rude if there's any Iglesia ni Cristos in the chat. This is retarded, okay? One little cult of retards in the Philippines, and if you don't join the retarded Philippine cult, then you go to hell? Like, what are we doing, guys?
The Christian community is based on anthroposophy, an esoteric philosophy invented by Rudolf Steiner in 1800s Austria. Seriously, the 19th century was smoking something. Steiner believed in an objective spiritual world that you could perceive with heightened consciousness. Basically, it's a repackaged version of the ancient Gnostic heresy.
There it is.
He believed in angelic hierarchies and reincarnation, and those are also central to his philosophy. Fun fact, Waldorf schools, which are basically nature hippie private schools, are based on anthroposophy. The Christian...
I didn't know that.
Community is weird because they're basically the only high church non-Trinitarians. They have priests, 7 sacraments, and a formal liturgy, but not the Nicene Creed.
Yeah, I never even heard of these guys.
They also love blurry paintings for some reason. Maybe because they're influenced by the German philosopher Goethe, who was
because they were always high.
Obsessed with colors. They care a lot about nature and not raising your kids with electronics. But what they don't care about is historic Christianity. They think
so why do they call them the Christian community?
Jesus was an ordinary man who received the Christ essence at his baptism, and that the Trinity didn't always exist.
Like, I'm not trying to be rude here, then why do you even call yourself Christians? Like, that's nice, but why do you call yourself Christians then? Then call yourself something else.
Christian science
like, this is quite literally not Christianity.
Like a grape nut, which is neither a grape nor a nut, because Christian Science is neither Christian nor scientific.
Oh, I love that.
One of their main ideas is that evil does not exist, and that means you shouldn't go to the doctor.
What? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? People do this? People, like, actually do this?
They believe in extreme metaphysical idealism, where your mind creates reality. So if you're sick, you just need to think better.
Bro. What are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing, guys? Like, what's going on? So what does this have to do with evil not being real?
They reject the Trinity because they don't see God as really personal at all.
So then, dog, like, again, maybe I'm retarded. Maybe I'm the retard. But I feel like if you call yourself Christian, but you don't believe in the Trinity, then you're not Christian. Again, I'm not a Christian, so I'm not trying to tell people what they are, and what they believe, but I feel like this is like a fundamental. It's like being a Muslim, but not believing that Muhammad was a prophet. Huh?
Just kind of a metaphysical principle of reality. Their beliefs were invented by this Boston lady, Mary Baker Eddy, and do I even need to say what century it was? The Christadelphians were started in the 1800s, so that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, alright, dude.
Okay, fine. They reject the Trinity, and they reject having any priests or pastors whatsoever. Last but not least...
So what do they do? Like, what do these people do?
World Mission Society Church of God.
Oh, okay.
One day we'll think of a cool nickname for them, like Moonies or Mormons. You might recognize them as the people that are always coming to your college campuses to tell you about God the Mother. Because they think
have never
God
heard of
is this woman in South Korea.
No, it's not real! Stop, bro. You see, this is why atheists are like... And my favorite thing is when atheists are like, even if you're right, that God is real, and God created the universe, then why should I pick your religion when there are so many religions? And it's like, one of them on the list is the World Mission Society Church of God. Alright? Doug, what are we doing?
Basically...
This is crazy.
This guy predicted Jesus would return in 1988, and when that didn't happen, he said it was
something wrong. That was his name.
Fulfilled spiritually, and then...
That is the biggest cope of all time, bro. That is the biggest cope I've ever seen.
He died, but his followers still believed that he was God, the Father, Son, and Spirit,
what?
And that his wife, who's still alive, is God the Mother. So after you look at all these groups, the mainstream Christian denominations seem very similar to each other.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. Because originally when we were we did a deep dive on the mainstream Christian denominations, and I was like, wow, these are interesting, these are different. But these don't seem Christian at all. Quite literally, none of these guys believe in like anything that has to do with Christianity at all, I would think. So yeah, anyway, that was wild. Yeah, these are heretical cults, I guess, or something. We have to do a Mormon deep dive because that one seems super interesting. It's a shame we didn't bring up Scientology, but I guess that doesn't even count as trying to be Christian. So yeah, anyway, that was fun. Thanks for the lore dive, everybody. See you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.